I watched this a few hours ago. Went to visitation with my son and been thinking this over for the past several hours. And I still don't know how to approach this. In case you don't know, you didn't read the title. Babysitter, Killer Queen. I guess we should just start from the beginning. Now, after the first one came out, they set up for a sequel, and so I was very interested where they were going to go. Then, as things started to progress on the sequel, it looked as if Samara Weaving wasn't going to come back, which immediately threw me away from there. I'm like, if she's not coming back, because I hate it when they do sequels and they don't have certain characters. They don't, try to bring back a character, especially a main character. They change main characters. Like the Tremors franchise keeps bringing back Burt Gummer. They interchange other characters. Do that. And it seems like they were going to have Cole and then the 4 other characters that are already dead coming after him. And no Samara Weaving. But then the trailer came out. And that's very much what I was getting until towards the end of the trailer when they showed that it was very possibly Samara Weaving was going to be in it. You didn't see her from the front. You just saw her from behind and you heard, "Hey, Cole." So I got intrigued. So I watched it. And I'm conflicted because as many times as I was laughing my ass off and really, there's some gore, there was just as many times I was saying, no, I don't like that decision. I don't like that. No, I don't like that. It's very conflicted. First of all, nothing's changed for Cole. He's still scared. He still gets picked on. And he's probably worse off than he was because no one believes him about the black coat from the first film. He's still getting picked on by bullies, although Jeremy's nowhere to be found. He gets hit by 2 balls in the head at the beginning of this film instead of 1 because it's the sequel. And he's seeing the doctor guy, the nurse from the first one, who's also a psychiatrist now, I guess? I don't know. But he's seeing that. And no one believes him except for maybe Melanie, who's, by the way, not his girlfriend. Nope, she's dating someone else. So, even though it was pretty much confirmed they were going to be together from now on, they didn't even date not once. They're just friends. And that's not the worst thing they do with Melanie in this film. There's a twist with her that sorta in the trailer, if you really pay attention to it, but because I was watching the trailer, I'm like, no, they're not doing that with her, is it? No, something else is going on. But no, they do it. So this whole thing revolves around, they mention Nicole has a new medicine he's got to take. And it's very rushed through. His parents don't believe him about anything. And then Melanie convinces Cole to go with her boyfriend, and 2 others to this cabin. It's like a boathouse thing. They're going to this beach and everything and to go with them. While there, Cole's parents go to see Melanie's dad, who is a completely different character, completely different actor in this. In the first film, he was stern. He was very, against Cole. He was a little bit funny, but not too funny. He had that one line where he's like, your folks were expecting, because Cole wanted to get a ride. He's like, your parents were expecting to take the bus, right? Yeah, you should probably do that. That was a little bit funny. But here, they completely replaced the character. He's not the same actor. He's not even the same kind of character. He's a pot-smoking, fun-loving, comedic character. And he's basically along the ride with Cole's dad. And he ends up dead anyway. Totally different character. But I kind of liked him here. In the first one, he's kind of ass. But here, I kind of liked him. Now the twist. Now, as you know from the trailer, the 4 dead characters from the first film are back. Well, we got a twist. During when they're in the little cabin thing, the boyfriend starts to talk to Cole about what happened 2 years prior. Yeah, 2 years. And it was 3 years since the movie came out. It's been 2 years since the events. And he says, don't you know what happened and stuff. And then Melanie has enough, and she says, yeah, I get it, Black Colt. And then she mentions the book, which Cole never told her about. He said, how do you know about the book? She's like, you told me. No, I didn't. How do you know about the book? And then she just kills the other girl that's there and says, I'm part of the cult. Something to that, extent. Also, they introduced this new character, and this is when I knew that they weren't going to go ahead with the romance between Cole and Melanie. It's this new female character played by Jenna Ortega, I think her name is. Her name is Phoebe. And as soon as she shows up, Cole has a slow motion fantasy about her. I'm like, oh, we're doing this? Why can't it be with Melanie? Because she's part of the evil cult. That's why. And as they were going around, I'm like, wait a minute, jock character, stupid, ethnic minority character, female character. One more and they'd be a cult. And sure enough, apparently, the first film, there's a whole thing about, a bee gave him the alcohol that had drugs in it so he'd fall asleep and he's supposed to be asleep. Here, he was just supposed to take his medicine and pass out. Kind of touch or go if that's supposed to be your plan there. But yes, the others, they show up, they go off, and they do get killed one by one. I do like how Bella Thorne gets killed again. And they play on the first one. She's firing a gun, it bounces off a rock and shoots her in the tit again. And then she was fine. There's this little crevice between the rocks, and she tries to follow them down, but she gets stuck. And so they start pulling on her legs, and it disconnects the head from the neck, and just the gore in this, much like the first one, is fantastic. Although there is one thing I do have to question. Bella Thorne shoots a deer, and all but the legs are destroyed. That's not how guns work. I'm just saying. We also get to see sort of the backstory of how the 4 characters from the first film were recruited by B. And I did think it was kind of funny that Max, Robbie Mel's character, was working at a fast food restaurant with no shirt on, just a name tag. And I'm laughing, but then I'm also going, how would they even let him work there with no shirt? That was the gag in the first one. Well, why is your shirt off? That's the first question you answer? And the black guy doesn't die first this time. He dies last, basically. Oh, and also those other 2 characters, the meathead boyfriend and the other friend, don't mean anything. They're killed by Satan's lightning, I guess. I don't know. So it all comes to a head. Basically, it's just Max, Cole and Phoebe running from the cult and then dying one by one because Cole's a badass, right? So then it goes to this cabin that was Phoebe's parents' cabin, and they hide in there. They hide in the basement, and eventually, Melanie gets the idea to call Cole's dad, and they drive up. They being Cole's dad and her dad. And then her dad ends up dead when they get there anyway. But then Cole's dad drugs Cole so that he can take him home. Which leaves Phoebe in the hands of Melanie as bait. And Cole finally shows up and says, take me, I'm yours, just let her go. So then the reveal of the dead people from before come back to life again, which they mean killed off with inside the gun switch anyway. And then reveal that B is still around and she comes out of the water for some reason. And she's standing there and they complete the thing. You need a blood of a virgin, blood of an innocent, right? Blood from a sacrifice, blood of an innocent. So, there. Only it doesn't work. Because, unbeknownst to them, Cole and Phoebe had sex. Now, I like how they got around the age problem. The age problem being that the actor who plays Cole is like 18. Is that 18, 19? The actress who plays Phoebe is only 17. So I couldn't do anything because she's underage. So instead, they show pictures of like a roller coaster going around, a rocket popping off, stuff like that. The only problem with that is when they come back to them, they're just laying on a mattress, fully clothed, like nothing had even happened. She still had the blood on her head from when people got killed and stuff. You kind of could have done something. Wipe the blood off her face, something to make it seem like something had happened. Otherwise, it looks like nothing had happened. But apparently it did because The ritual doesn't work. Everyone dies. B doesn't drink from it, but it's revealed that B actually used to be Phoebe's babysitter as well, and that's how she became part of the cult. There was an accident which killed Phoebe's parents, but B didn't want Phoebe to die, so she made a deal with the devil, Phoebe, to still be alive. Now, this kind of complicates things from the first film, as it was implied that B was like centuries old. I mean, she's not. She's probably a couple decades older than she should be. Probably, because it's hinted that she didn't age since then. And yes, and then it's also shown to us that everything was planned from the beginning. She went to Melanie to set it up. She took gas out of the jet ski that Phoebe was on, so she had to stop at the boathouse to get to see if there's any gas. She set everything up, bare everything. And then she drinks the potion so that she dies too. Because I guess she has to. But Cole's dad sees all this, so now he believes him about everything. So there's that. And we get a mid-credit scene where the book is still around. Which the book was destroyed in the first one, but I guess it can't be destroyed. I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed the film, but there were some things I didn't like. I didn't like that they sacrificed an obvious romance from the first film to turn her into a villain and put him in a romance. Because it's implied they're in love now. So if a third one comes along and they're not together, I'm going to be pissed. I understand not having a couple together if you can't get the actors to come back, but you got both actors to come back. And they're not a couple. She's with some meathead, and then it turns out, no, she's in on it. Which kind of pissed me off. Overall, this movie gets an 8 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it, but not as much as the first one. What are your thoughts on that Babysitter Killer Queen? By the way, they do play that song when it's revealed that that she set everything up so everything would happen, and that it's actually poisoned them. They're all going to die. The song plays. She's a killer queen, gunfighter, guillotine, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime. So what are your thoughts on Babysitter Killer Queen? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you next.